The House Judiciary Committee plans to hold a hearing next week to explore what Chairman Jim Jordan calls, quote, judicial overreach against President Trump. Jordan says the panel does not plan to call Judge James Boasberg as a witness. He's, of course, the judge who tried to block the recent migrant deportation flights to El Salvador. This is just one of the rulings in which the Department of Justice and administration have taken issue with. That has created a backlash against those judges who have made those decisions. CBS News Department of Justice correspondent Scott MacFarlane joins me now here in Studio 55 to talk more about this. Good to see you, my friend. So you spoke to a federal judge whose son was killed by someone trying to attack her. What did she tell you?
5 years ago, her son was murdered. Her husband was wounded by a disgruntled lawyer who was coming to her house in New Jersey to target her. The warning from this judge, Esther Salas, is that this moment we're in right now, with judges being threatened with impeachment, being accused of being radical or leftists or rightists, is triggering a risk of possible attack. Esther Salas spoke with CBS News about her fears and about what she thinks can be done about it.
Criticism that's informed is one thing. Criticism that's misinformed, that mischaracterizes our rulings, accuses judges of being partisan with no bases, that's where I think we've now stepped way too far.
There are some numbers behind her concern, Vlad. The U.S. Marshals report more protective details are needed for judges now than any time in decades. And the U.S. court system says the number of hostile, menacing contacts to judges is up by orders of 3 in the last 10 years.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. On one hand, Jim Jordan is not planning on calling these justices to the Hill, which I think is a good thing. But yet they still tweet about them. They still go in front of the cameras to talk about them. This seems unprecedented to me. I don't recall, even if the president of the United States would release a statement back in the day, you know, about a particular decision that he disagreed with, you wouldn't have members of Congress fanning the flames. Now you do on both sides of the aisle.
These judges should not be household names.
That's right.
And Judge James Boasberg is increasingly becoming one of those. That's a problem. That's a problem the judiciary is going to have to deal with. But these calls for impeachment do serve a political interest for supporters of the president who don't like these court orders slowing down his initiatives. But you make an important point. There are others who have targeted Brett Kavanaugh, Trump appointee to the U.S. Supreme Court. In fact, there's a California man, Vlad, who is still on a trajectory to go to trial for allegedly planning to assassinate Brett Kavanaugh. There's a lot of blame to go around.
I like what you said, Scott. These justices should not be household names. An excellent point. Excellent reporting as always, my friend. Thank you very much for being here.